So I said in the previous episode that we would be doing login to our Drupal page via Vue.js in this video. But as it turns out, that's not so easy. And actually, I think you can't do it as of right now. So we are just going to have to skip that part. I spent I don't know, last 2 or 3 days trying to figure out how you would log in to Drupal, but as it turns out, that actually doesn't work. So I even tried the services module, which used to provide you with a way to log in to your Drupal in Drupal 7, and services module for Drupal 8 is currently in alpha stage, and that didn't work for me either. So maybe I'm doing something wrong, I don't know. If any of the viewers know how to log in via JavaScript to Drupal, please contact me, let me know. I will make a video about it, no problem. But as of right now, I really don't know how to get this going. There are of course some roundabout ways that you can fake a login, but I just don't wanna teach that on this channel because I think it's a bad practice and you shouldn't be doing that. So instead of that, in this, I think, at least for now, final episode of Drupal 8 and Vue.js, we are going to learn about Vue transition. It's going to be a short video. I'm just going to show you how we can make our user experience on our application a little bit smoother and a little bit nicer for the user. So right now, if we go to our page, our single page app, and if I don't know, I refresh this page, you will see a little delay while all of this loads. And of course, if I had many more movies, that delay would be a little bit longer. So we need a way for user to know that the content is loading. So let's say we want to have some kind of alert bar right here that will say, okay, your content is now loading, and when it's done we want that alert bar to disappear and show our content. So of course you can do it this way. I will just go to my movie list component. So let me just see. Okay, so here it is. And let's say we are going to make an alert bar. So I'm just going to do something like div, open up div, and I'm just going to do vShow and equals to loading. So whenever we are loading something, we get that the loading is true, we will show this div, and in here I will just write something loading, please wait. Okay, save this, and now if I go to this page, refresh it, actually I'm just going to delete this for now, just that we can see our bar. So we have this content is loading, please wait. I will just open up my SAS folders, and let's say I'm going to open this homepage.scss. Remember to start up your gulp watch so that the CSS would be compiled. And then I'm going to say something like, let's just edit a class first. So right here we're going to say class equals loading. Loading, okay. Go to our homepage, homepage SCSS, and define loading. So I'm just going to give it a padding of 20 pixels and color of white, and then I'm just going to give it a background color of let me just see, let's take this color right here. So I'm just going to paste this in, save it, refresh it, and okay, this is this bar. Let's just add some margin to it. margin 20 pixels, and that should be it. Okay, so now we have our loading bar, and of course we can go to our application and find uh, get get movies method. And in this method I'm just going to set, so before we get the movies, so right here we are setting up our movies data, but before we get the movies I'm going to say this dot set loading, and I'm going to set it to be true. Okay, of course we defined it right here. Loading is going to be false, so in our initial setting up of that data. So this set loading is true, and then when our data is loaded, so when our movies are loaded and ready to be displayed on the page, we can set this to false again. So I'm just going to do this set loading false. Okay, and refresh this page. Okay, we didn't actually add vshow right here, so we do vshow equals loading. So we already discussed vshow, so when loading is true, this is going to show up, but when loading is false, this is going to disappear. So let's try to refresh this page again, and we have content is loading and then it disappears. It was very quick. Let me just try to clear the cache to maybe make it a little bit longer lasting. So as you can see, content is loading and then we get that. Okay, so that's great. So now I'm going to show you V transition. So a V transition is pretty cool because you can make a little animations for your loading screens or your transitions via this V transition directive. So to make this just super clear, I'm just going to copy this out, and I'm going to find my single movie template and paste this in. But instead of this class loading, I'm going to say transition equals loading. Okay, so we have a transition loading. Now to define a CSS for that, you have to go to your homepage.scss. So right here, and instead of just doing loading, you do loading transition. And Vue.js is smart enough that it's going to apply this class to that div. So loading transition, and you also have to define two more divs, actually two more classes. So one is going to be loading, or whatever you called your transition right here. So this could be anything you want. So it's going to be for me loading and enter, and then loading leave. So this is the entry point and leaving point of that transition. So what do you want your transition to look at the beginning, and what do you want it to look at the end? So in most of the cases it's going to look the same. So probably you don't want to show anything at the beginning and nothing at the end, so to make that transition. So I'm just going to say for this one, width is going to be 0, and this is going to be our actual transition. You have to have this defined, and I'm just going to say width to be 100%, and I'm going to add a CSS transition right here. Come on. Transition, and it's going to be all, it's going to be 0.3 seconds long, and we're going to add ease to it. Save this, and of course we have to go to our app.js and then define this loading data before we do anything. So for a single movie, I'm just going to define it here. Loading is going to be false, and then we're going to set it right here. This set loading is going to be true before we get our movie, and when we get our movie we want to hide that div, and it's going to be set to false. Is false. Okay, save this, and then we should be able to get a cool transition right here if this doesn't load up too fast. So let's try inception. So as you can see, we have a small animation, our content is loading, and probably something went wrong because it shouldn't be loading that long. So what is it? Okay, it actually took a while for it to load, so it's loaded right now. So as you can see, it's looking pretty cool right here. So if we click Big Lebowski, of course this was loaded pretty fast, so it just did this animation right here and then back. Let's try this one. So as you can see, this works. So we can also make it for movie list. So I'm just going to take this and just go to movie list right now and paste it instead of this div right here. So if I refresh the page, go back, as you can see we have the same effect right here. So of course you can do with it whatever you want. So these are transitions. Of course you can read up on transitions on Vue.js site. You can even bind those transitions to JavaScripts and so on. But I just wanted to show you a cool way in which you can do some transitions so that the user knows when something is loading and it's not just looking at the blank screen. I'm sorry. Okay, so this is it for this video. If you liked it, please like it. If you like the content I put out, please subscribe to the channel. Of course, all the code that we used right here is going to be available for you on GitHub repository. Link will be in the description below. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. As I said, this will probably be the last episode in Vue.js and Drupal series for a while, but as I said at the beginning of the video, if I get if I figure out how to log in to Drupal via Vue.js, I will surely make a video about that. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.